In 2011, the United States News and Education reported that 55% of all high school students played at least one sport in high school. Raise your hand if you played at least one sport in high school. That's more than 55%. Today I will explain to you why I believe college athletes should be paid. And first we need to understand why college athletes play the sport that they do. The first reason that I came up with is because they love what they do. I know in personal experience, I went to basketball practice every day and I loved every second of it. It was daunting, but I loved it. For those of you who have played a sport, you know how hard it is to go to practice every day, maybe even 2 days, going 2 to 3 hours. But you do it because of the love of the sport. I'm going to tell you four reasons why I believe that college athletes should be paid. The first is the time commitment that they put into it, the daily practices, and the amount of games that they have to go and travel to. The second is the mental exhaustion that they go through and the amount of commitment that they put into it. The third is the physical exhaustion that they go through after practices, weight training, and different various activities that they do. And the fourth is the amount of revenue that it creates towards the university. So first is the time commitment. On average, a college athlete spends about 43 hours at practice a week. And according to MarketWatch.com, 80% of the students, or 80% of students work at least 20 hours a week at a job. At minimum wage, it's about $165 per week. So that's $165 a week that these student athletes are not getting. So they should be paid because while they're putting their time commitment into the university, they're not getting any stipend or anything in return. And these college athletes need money. On average, about 25% of college athletes are living below poverty level, and just because they're college athletes doesn't mean they all have money. So, which brings me to my second point. Sports can be mentally demanding for a full-time college student, and it can get pretty tough. Classes, on average, you take about 15 credits a semester, which is a lot of work. According to College Parents of America, a student should spend at least 10 to 15 hours a week studying for their classes. If a student is spending 43 hours a week at practice, it's really hard to come home and get your studies done, but they have to anyways. The universities do understand that, but a reasonable stipend of money would probably make it a little bit easier on them to keep their life moving in the right direction. My third point is the physical demand that each sport takes. Each student in their 43-hour practice goes through different activities. For basketball, I know it's sometimes 2-a-day training with conditioning in the morning and weight training during the afternoon. So that leaves them very minimal time to go home and do work. Imagine going home after a 2-hour practice, running at least 30 sprints, and coming home and having to do an essay, a speech, and math homework, which is what I had to do today. I couldn't imagine doing it. And then going to weight training that night. That's what they have to deal with every single day. And then they have games on the weekend. So they don't really have much free time. They don't have much time to catch up. And it's difficult for them to succeed in school. My fourth point is revenue. ASU made $54 million through athletics in 2008. That was just ASU alone. Alabama made $128 million, and the second was Auburn at $86 million. These students are the reason that the universities make so much money. If they bring in recruits that don't perform as well, or they don't put on a show, they won't make as much money. So giving them a portion of the revenue, not a lot, say 5% of the revenue, would give each player on a team of 12 people an average of about $8,500 a semester, or a year, sorry. At $8,500 a year is basically like a little scholarship. It would pay for some of their food, maybe clothing that they need, and transportation that they could definitely use. So why should we pay college athletes? Well, I believe those 4 reasons are a pretty strong foundation on why we should. Why do we pay our employees? Because they make profit for the company. I believe that the student athletes are basically like employees for the university. If we pay our employees, we should pay our athletes.